The Lantern of Nomae. Tamsin Moore had lived in the Brackmere orphanage for 19 years. She was quiet, clever, and often mistaken for someone older. Not because of her looks but because of how she observed things, as if she remembered more than she should. She found the room on a day that didn't exist. It was the 32nd of October. She didn't notice the date until later. All she knew then was that she'd followed the mewling of a cat down a hall she'd never seen before, lined with portraits that didn't blink and walls that pulsed faintly, like they were breathing. At the end, a door, black wood shaped like an arch. On it, carved in silver, a phrase in a language her mind told her was familiar. Only those who do not belong may enter. The door opened before she touched it. Inside was a chamber unlike anything in the orphanage. Marble floor veined with gold, books suspended midair, and in the center, a lantern that glowed with cold blue fire. No wick. No heat. No explanation. When she looked into the flame, it blinked. The lantern called itself Nomae. Not in words but in pulses, thoughts that moved through Tamsin's skull like birds in a storm. She began seeing things that weren't there, or perhaps had always been. Shadows moving backward. Clocks ticking in silence. A girl in the mirror who looked like her but never copied her movements. And then the whispers came. Not inside her head but behind her ears, as though the world itself was remembering something and murmuring it to her. They told her the lantern had once been part of a lighthouse for the dead, a place between time and thought, where souls who had lost their stories wandered until someone remembered them. Nomae was all that was left. The rest had burned. Each night Tamsin returned to the hidden room, and each night the lantern showed her more. People she had never met. Languages she shouldn't understand. A city made of mirrors where names had weight and dreams were traded like currency. She stopped sleeping. She didn't need to. She had stories now. In one vision Tamsin saw the hollow archive, a vast underground labyrinth of memory vaults and echo books. It was tended by blind scribes with bleeding quills who wrote the fates of the forgotten. The lantern told her this archive was once part of the world, hidden under cities, ruins, even schools. But now only shards remained and she had been chosen to restore one. Why her? Because you were never supposed to exist. That voice didn't come from Nomae. It came from the girl in the mirror. The girl in the mirror called herself Marrow. She looked exactly like Tamsin but older and fractured. One eye was a void, the other too bright. Her smile didn't belong on a human face. She said she was born from a memory that no one wanted to keep. You dreamt of me when you were 5. The dream where you burned the school. Remember? Tamsin did. She'd never told anyone. I'm what's left of that dream. The piece you buried. You left me in the echo space. But now that you've touched the lantern, you've given me a door. Tamsin tried to flee the room but it wouldn't let her. The lantern flared and for the first time, it hurt to look at it. Marrow whispered, "We can't both be real. Decide." And vanished. In her next vision, Nomae showed Tamsin the city of lost names. A realm stitched between timelines, made of half-finished buildings and weather that changed mid-step. People wore masks made of paper and forgot why they cried. At its center was a tree growing upside down, roots stretched to the sky. Hanging from its branches were lanterns like Nomae, each a vessel of story. The archive's final chamber, said Nomae, was buried beneath that tree. But to reach it, Tamsin had to bring her entire self, and she was now split. You are not whole. You cannot carry truth unless you carry all of it. The final test would come not from the archive, but from Marrow. The final night came without stars. Tamsin returned to the room. The lantern pulsed with urgency. Marrow waited. "Give me your name," Marrow hissed. "You can keep the story. I just want the anchor." Giving Marrow her name would erase Tamsin's place in the world, but it would also let her walk freely between realms. She would become a keeper of stories. Mortal. Unseen. Refusing would mean sealing Marrow away forever, with part of herself lost to the echo space. But then Nomae whispered, "Or write a new name. One that binds both. One that's only yours." Tamsin understood. She took the lantern, held it to her chest, and burned. Fire without heat. Light without shadow. She wrote a name on the floor in her own blood. Marrow. Marrow screamed. Nomae shattered. The room exploded into blue light. When the fire cleared, Tamsin stood, not the same, not two, but rewritten. Now the room exists again. Sometimes. If you find it, on the wrong date through the wrong door during the right dream, you may see a girl with a lantern. She may ask for your story. She may offer you her own. Be careful what you choose. For the Lantern of Nomae still burns. And Tamaro remembers everything.